tell your team anything about that, about just like being in that and going through it, and these double-digit leads? It just seems like they're nothing.
Well, and it's true across the NBA. I know we've had in the last 2 games 2 of the most, the biggest changes. But Phoenix, before they played us, had the 24-point lead against Brooklyn and lost. I mean, every night there's one of those somewhere. Somebody's up 16 or 18. I mean, a lot of it's the prevalence of the 3-point shot. Comebacks are coming quicker and the whole thing. And so, and both ways, you shoot so many threes that if you're missing and the other team's making, it changes quickly. And I think the lesson that we have to learn just from the last 2 games is you literally got to keep playing for 48 minutes, both ends of the floor, and you can't get worried about the scoreboard. You can't take a lead and try to get cautious and run the clock down. You can't quit defending, and you can't be behind and hang your heads. I mean, you just got to keep playing and see where you end up at the end of the game. And I thought our guys did a really good job of that on Sunday. We just kept fighting. I mean, and the thing is, we talk about, like, oh, well, you turned it up. We played really hard in the first half, as I said after the game. We did. We just made too many mistakes on offense, and we fouled some jump shooters, and we missed free throws, and we got behind. But we played hard defensively the whole game, and then probably did step it up just a bit in the fourth quarter, but it took us 48 minutes of playing really hard defense and figuring out some things offensively to get to a point to have a chance to win. And so that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, you've obviously got 2 guys up for All-Star contention tonight. Just what do you think about the work Zion and B.I. have done this year to have such special seasons up to this point?
Yeah, I mean, they're both having all-star level seasons. There's absolutely no question about it. But as I went through my ballot the other day, besides the 5 starters, I had 13 or 14 guys that I thought were all-stars in the West, all-star reserves, and we can only vote for 7. So that becomes the problem, and especially when you're a team below 500, you don't know if you're going to have enough to get 2 guys on there or even 1 guy on there. I mean, there's a lot of really good players in the West, and every one of our teams has guys, and a lot of them have multiple guys that are deserving all-stars, and so they're not all going to get on. I mean, it's really, really hard to make the all-star team in the NBA. I mean, baseball, you have to have somebody from every team. It's a little bit different. But in basketball, like, it's hard. We have 15 teams in the West, a lot of good players, and you're getting 12 spots. I mean, it's a hard thing to do.
Hey, Coach, this is Ollie Cosell. I'm curious, did you feel like you discovered something in that last game by going small, by playing Nico Melli at the 5?
I don't think we discovered anything. I mean, early in the year we were playing that lineup some. I mean, it certainly gives us another option. But I don't know if we discovered anything. But it worked well for us. I mean, even though Nico didn't make shots, his defense was good. He moved the ball, all the things we know he could do. Plus, the threat of his shooting did open up the floor a little bit for Zion and Brandon, Zion in particular. So that was a help.
Coach, Andrew, one more time. The alley-oop in general is just such a fun play. You have a pretty good duo here with Lonzo and Zion, but you also had Dwight when he was in Orlando. Can you just talk me through using him in that way and using so many lobs back when you had him?
Well, I mean, when you have guys like that, it's such a threat because, you can do things to take away the pocket passes and things like that, but when the ball's just going up in the air, it's hard. If you're not right between him and the basket, it's a hard play to stop, and it limits your pick and roll options defensively, that's for sure. When you have guys like that, we had a couple the other day with Robert Williams against us. It's a tough play to cover. And to cover it, what you've got to do is pull in from the weak side and get a body on that guy, but then that opens up 3-point shots. So the threat of that lob, I think, is one of the hardest things to cover in the pick and roll game.
And obviously, So has been playing at a really high level the past few weeks. Just what have you kind of seen from him, and just up to this point, and the way he's been able to improve his game and make such a bigger impact, over these, I guess, up to the last month?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. The last 12 to 15 games since we got off that West Coast trip. Part of it is he had been hurting. He missed some games on that West Coast trip. He got healthy, so I think that was a big part of it. He's shooting the ball really well. I think he's playing more aggressively offensively, trying to get in the paint more, pushing the ball faster in transition, not just throwing it ahead. That's all been good. And then the last game against Boston in particular, not only did he defend well on the ball, but, he was the most active I have seen him off the ball and really helped us save a lot of points, a lot of shots. We pointed it out to everybody on the film today as sort of a teaching point for other guys. So, and then he hadn't been turning the ball over. The other day he did turn the ball over. That was a problem, but he really hadn't been turning the ball over either. So, yeah, he's playing at a very, very high level, and we need that.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
started here. Christian Clark, why don't you go ahead? And then Christian Clark here. How was just the wind and the conditioning feeling in the fourth quarter and overtime there? That was a lot of minutes in a row.
It was a good feeling to win. Personally, I felt good. I'm trying to keep myself ready for whenever the moment is, and most important thing that we won.
When it's been so long since you got those kind of significant minutes, I guess, what's your mentality when your number is called there in the fourth quarter? You've been sitting as long as you have.
I was surprised. That was my mentality. No, and then of course he calls me in, and I try to do my best, offensively and defensively, and try to do everything possible to help the team win.
Nico, you had a stretch last season where you didn't play, and then you ended up coming into the rotation and obviously made a huge impact over the course of the whole season with the team really turning things around. Is there anything that you can take away from last year as far as helping you deal with, having to be patient, the experience that you had last season going into what's happening lately?
Well, I know that in the NBA everything can change in a second, and but I think every year is different, and so what happened last year might not happen this year. So I will do everything possible, of course, to make that happen again. I always want to play. This, I think, is the mentality that every player has. But I'm not thinking about last year. I'm just trying to keep myself in shape, to be ready, to help the team do the right thing, winning. If it's practice, to practice as hard as possible. Try to put mostly Zion, because it's the guy who guards me the most, more in trouble, so he can get ready for the game. And if I play, I just try to do whatever it takes to win.
Hey, it's Andrew from ESPN. How much of those sessions pregame, I saw you and Sindarius and Corey Brewer really going at it the other day. How much does that help you guys? And what did if you can, what did Corey tell you before you checked in on Sunday? It seemed like he came over there at the end of the third to tell you something before you went in the fourth.
Well, since Corey never won against me, he told me just picture myself out there and play as you're playing against me. So this is what he told me. You can ask him. That's the truth. This for sure. I'm not a huge fan of 1-on-1, 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s. I want to play 5-on-5, the real games. But this is a way to stay in shape. And what we have been doing before the games is not just with Sindarius and Corey. Jackson Hayes was there. Winion is there. Nikhil, Kyra sometimes. I'm missing for sure somebody. And all the coaches are trying to keep ourselves in shape, and for sure that helped me to be ready the other night. Maybe next time I'm not gonna play 30 minutes 1-on-1 before the game, so I might have a little bit more legs, but it works out pretty well. So if this works out, I don't know, maybe we will keep doing it.
How do you find your shot again? You haven't played a lot. Is that difficult even for a guy who that's his number one known skill, being an excellent shooter? How do you find that again?
Shooting?
Yes.
Shooting. Just shooting. I think the other night it could have been easily a 3 out of 7. The first two went out they were pretty in. I was very pissed at myself. It was, they were good shots. They went in and out. So I will shoot again next game if I have the chance to do it. And the only thing is, I know I'm a shooter, but it's not the only thing I can do. And I always think that if I have a good shot and a teammate has an excellent shot, I will give him the ball. This is, I try to do the right play, but I figured out that the other night we need to open the court, and shooting, even though I was missing shots, it was allowing us to, get offensive rebound And maybe the next action, Zion had more space because everybody knew that I was shooting no matter what. And of course, I wanna score more. I wanna have better percentage for sure. But if to win, I need to shoot 1-7 every game. I will shoot 1-7 every game.
Nico, the one that went down was off a pass from Zion. He's had a lot of these games lately where it's 4, 5, 6, 7 assists. What do you think about the way he's? I mean, we know he can score the ball, but what do you think about the way he's spreading the ball around?
You know, everybody is talking about how dominant he is physically, but I think he's a good basketball player. Like, he knows how to play basketball. The thing is so easy for him to score the ball that, of course, his first thing is, I go and score. And so maybe sometimes he doesn't see certain passes, but, we want him to be aggressive as he is. But he gave us incredible looks, and it's just a matter to knock down shots when he's on the court and he passes the ball out.
Yeah, sticking with Zion, he mentioned after the game on Sunday that you're one of the people that's always in his ear whenever he comes to the bench, kind of telling him what you see. I guess what's the message you kind of share with him often, and what are you keeping an eye on when he's on the court?
I cannot tell you which is the message. It depends on the games. Maybe, I see stuff where I think he should do something that helps him and helps the team. I'm just telling him, I don't know. It depends on the coverage. It depends. I don't know. I try to share what I see, and then it's on him, to do it or not. And but I just try to help him to be the best version of himself. And sometimes I'm not able, and it's not my job. I'm not the coach. I'm just a teammate. But being outside, being on the bench, I try to be somehow part of the team, even if I don't play. So I try, to share something I've seen and try to help the team, and Zion in this case.
All right, thank you, Nico. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Christian Clark here. Since the calendar flipped to 2021, you guys are fourth in offense. I mean, just how crazy is it that you guys are at the top of the league after the way the season started? What has clicked into place on that end for you guys?
I think we started playing a lot faster. Getting on the break a lot more and just playing with more pace. I think early on, we're trying to find our identity. How we wanted to get good shots, and as of late, we've been doing that.
So Stan was just talking about how he likes how aggressive that you've been, especially lately. You have 23 free throw attempts in February after you had 3 in January. What do you think is the reason behind that, of why that's gone up so much?
I think just seeing where I can attack and getting my legs under me. I feel like I got the ball a lot in the offense, especially early on in the game. To make plays, open up the defense for us. So just trying to take those gaps and get out, like I said, and transition more and just play a little faster than I've been playing in the past.
And Stan also mentioned that your play basically went up to another level after y'all came back from that long West Coast trip. Do you think it's just a matter of health? Do you think it's comfort in your role? I guess what's kind of changed for you over the past month or so?
I think a combination of both. Definitely feeling better as far as my legs and stuff. With the new program, I said a lot of credit to the staff helping me out, training staff, and the weight coaches on that. And then it's a new team, new coach and stuff. Just figuring out what system he wants to run, and you're trying to run that to the best of my abilities.
So we're gonna find out about All-Star reserves tonight. What do you think has been the biggest improvement or the biggest thing that Zion has become more comfortable with this season compared to last year, other than the fact that obviously he doesn't have minute restrictions and he hasn't had to deal with injury?
When he's given the time, Zion's been dominant, since he's pretty much been in the NBA. This year, I think his passing, went up a lot more just because he has the ball and pick and roll a lot more than he has, before. And he's making those plays for us. And doing what he needs to do. He's shooting, I believe, over 60%, which is crazy. So on the offensive end, I don't think there's really any weaknesses to his game. He's shooting threes now, confidently, and he's hitting his free throws as well. So if something had to stand out, I would say either passing or his free throws. One of the two.
Hey Lonzo, just a follow up on playing faster. Is that up and down? Is it side to side? Is it both? And what has I guess allowed you to up the pace a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Even when, pace is not always about just transition buckets. It's also, we're in half court, running our sets with good pace, keeping the defense on their toes and stuff like that. So for me, like I'm the point guard. So when I had the ball, just get up the floor and get us into our sets as fast as possible, is what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, and we know basically since you came into the league, you've been known as a guy with great anticipation on the weak side defensively. But this year you're kind of taking on more of a role as that on-ball guy against other teams. Number one guy, we saw you defend Tatum and Booker against Phoenix. I guess how important is that for your growth to kind of become that guy that can take on the other team's number one option on offense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be there night in, night out for my team. They look to me to kind of slow down the best player on the other team, every night, between me and Jay Hart. So, I'm just taking that challenge and doing the best I can to make those guys have a tough time scoring. Obviously the guys that, I'm guarding are going to get theirs, but just to make their, life as hard as possible for that night is just what I try to do.
Hey Lonzo, it's Andrew from ESPN. Doing a story on alley-oops, just kind of in general. To you, what makes a good alley-oop, just in general?
What makes a good alley-oop? Well, the guy catching it is probably the most important part of it. Luckily for me, I have Zion most of the time, or Jackson, so that's pretty two easy targets to throw to. But I think once you have a trust with somebody that is going to catch it, you can pretty much throw it, especially when they have the leaping ability a lot of guys have in the NBA today. It's just about putting the ball up there for them to go get at the end of the day.
How much do you have to work on placement with guys? I mean, you have a guy like Jackson. I feel like there's a wider range of places you can put the ball, but how much do you have to work on that with guys you're throwing hoops to?
Yeah, like you said, everybody's different. I really don't practice throwing lobs. If I see it in the game, I just throw it and hope for the best, honestly. Like I said, the guys that we have, it makes it pretty easy on us. You know, you can throw a bad lob and they'll still catch it. So, but for the most part, I try to aim for, you know, the corner of the backboard really, and split it up there for them.
And last one, do you have a favorite one that you've ever thrown, whether it's NBA, either in LA or here or college? Do you have a favorite one that you've ever thrown?
I think the back-to-back, you know, long lobs in Minnesota for Zion, those are pretty cool.
All right, thanks, so.
All right, thanks, I appreciate it.